So I'm just gonna get this out of the way straight from the get-go. The helmet prints for these 212 troopers are slightly inaccurate and Lego messed up. Really, they should look like this. I don't know why they don't, and in all honesty, all Lego Clone Trooper minifigures should be looking more like this realistic 2014 version. But now we're mixing the Clone Wars and the realistic styles, and I don't know why, but while there are some problems going on here with these newer Clone Trooper figures, they aren't terrible, and obviously you look at them, even with the holes and the helmets, I just can't say that they look bad or that they're ugly. They have a fair amount of detail, they look decent. I wish we still had this. This is so much better. Just see how it looks compared to the on-screen version. But at the same time, I'm totally fine with this. Welcome back to another Lego Star Wars review, and you know what this is. This is the 2022 ATTE Walker set. And I realize that I am reviewing it a bit late, but I can't have this and a YouTube channel and just decide not to make a video about it. It is a really special Lego set, and the build for the ATTE is really nice. It's not bad. There's a lot of really cool things in there that they didn't have to do, but they did. But the main draw with a lot of people for this is the minifigures. Like, this is the first Lego set with a Commander Cody in Phase 2 armor. And it's another set with a bunch of clone troopers in it, and people get really giddy about that. It's also just really cool that we're getting another ATTE because we haven't gotten one since, like, 2013. No one cares about the Rebels one. But before we really get into it, let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging. Alrighty, we've got the big boy packaging this time. As you can see, it's another really nice looking box where it's depicting the Battle of Utapau from Revenge of the Sith, but for some reason Lego thinks it's from the Clone Wars. You do get 8 minifigures in this set, and yes, 5 of them are clone troopers, so that's gotta be some new record. The featured minifigure at the top is Commander Cody, and on the back there's an alternate scene going on, and you can see all the features of the set, like the interior and how the cannon works. So let's talk about the build first. When it comes to the ATTE, of course, the main feature would be the legs. And these things do just kind of dangle a bit when you pick it up. There is a handle up at the top. The legs have a decent amount of posability, but you're not gonna really be able to get this thing into a bunch of different poses unless you have like some terrain or something around. And what's kind of disappointing is that the front legs and the back legs cannot move outward. So they're kind of just awkwardly dangling here, and it looks kind of weird. It's the same thing at the back. The middle legs can't really move outward that much, but you get far more articulation with them, and they just work better overall. The actual build for this thing does look really good. It has a lot more pieces than the 2013 version, which is its predecessor, and you can see that Lego actually used those extra pieces for good, because the gaps between the plating on this thing are way less visible, and you just have overall a lot more brick built detail. There are some stickers being used, like asymmetrical battle damage, where there's some battle damage on this side and there's some on the other, and not all the stickers look the same. And of course you do have the Republic logo on each side. Another one of the main functions of this vehicle is the cannon on the top. Of course, it's famous for shooting down Obi-Wan and his lizard mount during Order 66. You can place the gunner in the seat right there. There are no studs to keep him down, but you do have some articulation with the cannon. It can go up and down, and of course, it can be spun a total of 360 degrees. There are also the stud shooters mounted on the cannon, and while they are functional, they do not work the way a cannon should. You know, with a cannon, you know, it's supposed to be like a long range and everything, and the stud shooters don't even aim up with the cannon when you articulate it. It's not the greatest mechanism that they could have used for a cannon. I really think they probably should have stuck a spring-loaded shooter like right up here somehow, even if it would have looked a little bit more ugly. For play, it just would have been better. You also got 4 fully articulated cannons with these ball joints at the front, and there's also 2 at the back. And starting to get to the interior of this thing, to open up the cockpit, you just slide this front piece out here, and there's a chair with some control sticks. You can just place one of the clones right there and slide it back in on those rails. And if you look through the viewports, you can kind of see them in there. The ATTE has a very strange cockpit design. It almost looks kind of like a train or locomotive or something, but I do really like it. You've also got some lights right up here by the cannons, and you have these two Technic knob pieces that keep these plates in position. The front section of the Walker can open up. You just pull up on the cannon and there's a whole room inside there. And it is pretty small, but there's a decent amount of stuff in there. There is a rack for thermal detonators, and there is even a little crate which has some macro binoculars inside. And you can remove this platform that has 2 seats for clones and a wrench. There are also a few other brick-built details in there so that the space isn't super boring. And you can always lift up these panels and slide them out a bit just so you can get some more room in there. All you have to do to open up the back portion is unclip the back and the top pieces. And as you can see, you got a lot more going on in here. There are 5 seats where you can place minifigures, and it's a bit of a tight fit, but you can make it work. One of the seats even has a stickered control panel, which is where the gunner for the back cannons can sit. There's a coffee mug to the side, a fire extinguisher in the middle between the seats, and there is a rack for blasters off to the side. I also really like how there's a suggested doorway going through the middle of the vehicle. Even if it's not functional, it's still nice that there's that extra detail. Moving on to the minifigures, you get 3 normal 212th Battalion clone troopers, one of them that comes with a normal blaster, and 2 of them that come with blaster rifles. The prints on these figures do look really good, even if the helmets are inaccurate. And yeah, the holes in the side for the rangefinders and the visors are in the wrong place, but I don't really think that makes the minifigures ugly. Lego also chose a really nice shade of orange to use on these figures that does make them more accurate, and it's not like the 501st Legion clone troopers where the shade of blue is just too light. The final unnamed clone trooper in this set is just a clone gunner in phase 2 armor, and this is just what most or all of the clone trooper gunners in phase 2 armor look like. On the box, it does say that it is specifically a 212th Battalion gunner, and yeah, that makes sense because he's fighting alongside 212th clone troopers. They just didn't give him any orange markings to really denote him in being in that battalion. He does have some cool extra prints on him though, like the extra armor and straps over the chest piece and the extra armor plating on the helmet. He also has some really cool looking battle damage, and while the other figures do have battle damage, I think it looks the best on this one. And here's what the back looks like. I've also got the original version of the phase 2 clone gunner from the 2017 Republic fighter tank, and I do really love that minifigure. And while the design of the helmet is more realistic to how they looked in the live action movies, I do have to say the 2022 version just looks more interesting. Both the gunner and the normal 212th troopers have the newer face prints for the clone troopers. And finally, we have Clone Commander Cody in his iconic phase 2 armor. I definitely prefer the phase 2 clone trooper designs to the phase 1 designs. He's also got some battle damage and paint wear on him, and you also get those great extra details throughout the armor, like the rank patch on his chest plate and the extra armor over his visor. You've also got some really cool stuff going on with the helmet prints with those orange triangles, and just all of the extra paint apps that he has makes him one of the coolest looking clone trooper minifigures. And with the visor for his helmet, it definitely could look better. I don't think it looks bad, but I think Lego definitely needs to start coming up with some new molds for the visors. On the back, you can see that he does have a print for his jetpack, although there is not a separate piece for that. And underneath the helmet, he does have a more unique face print where he's like angry and going into battle, and he's also got scars, but there is no hairpiece for him, unfortunately. Oh yeah, and you also get some droids in the set, but who cares? The 2022 version of the ATTE Walker is a great set, but it isn't a masterpiece. You get some really great minifigures and a really awesome build, but there's still a bunch of flaws in there, and I really only give it like a 9 out of 10 because of that. Still though, if you do not have this set, I definitely recommend getting it, as it is a must-have. At least get it for the minifigures, because I don't know how you're not gonna regret missing out on this Phase 2 Commander Cody. But that about wraps it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.